At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
Yeah, they have a lot, that's why they're a team that, everybody's talking about being a championship, contender. And certainly they've been ranked number one or in the top five for a lot of this season and deservedly so. And, they do have a lot of weapons. They have a potential number one lottery pick in Holmgren, and Timmy's been as good as any interior player in the entire country. Those two run a great high-low game together. At the point guard position, we played against, number 3, Nebenhard, now when he was at Florida, and I was at Nevada in an NCAA tournament, and obviously have seen him and what he can do in pick and roll packages. He does a great job of advancing the ball, even after made baskets. He's one of the smartest point guards in college basketball. He's really improved as a three-point shooter. Strother, number 0, they bring him off screens. He's got deep range. He can catch and shoot with quickness. And then 45, Bolton, is a really good three-point shooter who's got good range. And they come off the bench with Watson, who can play multiple positions. So this team is really talented and as good as anybody in the country. So you're gonna have to play at an elite level to give yourself a chance to win.
Hey, it's NCAA tournament time. If you don't think you can win it, then you shouldn't be in it. Let's go to work.
All right. Let's do this. It's Wednesday before Arkansas gets ready to square off against Gonzaga a day before. We're coming up on it, y'all. It'll be here before we know it. 3, 2, 1, yo! What's going on, Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere? Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. Do me a favor if you guys haven't already. Subscribe. Check out all the links. You know, if you want to become a Patreon supporter, that link is provided for you down below. We're up on, what are we at, like 40? We're almost at 40 Patreon subscribers. Hopefully everyone sticks around. That would be great. That'd be awesome. Goes towards helping out the channel. So I do appreciate that. And of course, special shout out to everybody who's here, and of course to our sponsor, Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. These guys, listen, they've been they were the first sponsor, and they're still here, and I appreciate everything those guys do, and they are a big part of the reason why we're able to do what we're able to do here. So special shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the garage door company. They offer same day services, emergency service 24/7, 365 days a year, free estimates, quality parts, affordable outcomes, hundreds of 5-star reviews, better than best results. Our team is here and ready to serve every day as your trusted residential garage door repair team. Call us today, 501-244-3667. Again, that's 501-244-3667. And they also have a link on our channel and in our Discord. So if you're needing any assistance with your garage doors or know anybody that does, give them a shout out. Give them a call. Share the content, guys, if you haven't. Share it. And hit the like button, right? I think we covered everything. Man, it's good to be back. Me and the kids, we've had a busy week. We had ourselves a day the last, yesterday and the day before. It's been a lot of fun. We went to we visited some old school locations, man. We went to Locomotion, Rock Bottom Comics in Fayetteville. They're not a sponsor, but I always want to give a shout out to the local and small businesses. Shout out to Rock Bottom Comics. If you've never been in there, it's a treat. I mean, it's like walking into a time capsule. It's wonderful for you OG comic book folks out there. I was going to go eat some Wright's Barbecue. Again, not a sponsor, but I wanted to go eat some Wright's Barbecue, but they were pretty busy. They were freaking busy. Try my best to support local businesses, and I think we should all do that. You know, it's really easy to go to Walmart, but or go eat at Taco Bell. Big fan, by the way. Baja Blast, get out of here. Their fountain drink's phenomenal, but I try my best if I can to try and eat local and shop local. All right, boy, this is a pretty loaded show. Honestly, we've got high school football recruiting updates. We've got Anthony Black, whose decision's coming up, and of course we've got this Arkansas this game that, like, I'm excited to talk about, but at the same time, I'm just ready to play the game. I woke up today thinking today was game day. I woke up in my mind, like, still foggy, thinking, all right, Arkansas Gonzaga tonight. I can't wait. Oh wait, it's Wednesday. I got to do a show, and it's not time yet. We're not there. So yeah, it'll be here though. Before you know it, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Talk forever, Ty. Stun the like, says Cody Phillips. That's right, man. Hit the like button if you haven't already. So. Hang on just a second. Here we go. YouTube is, hold on. I don't know what just happened, but YouTube just completely crashed. You've got to be kidding me, man. Not again. Not again. No. I'm assuming you guys can still see me. I just can't see chat. But it completely vanished. Hang on just a second. Let me get this pulled back up. Oh, my goodness. It's just going to be one of them days is what it's going to be, guys. Or another, there we go. It's back. It's back up and running. Well, that was spooky. All right. Let's get into the first bit of news really quick. Arkansas, I mean, it's not really breaking news just yet. We're going to find out more maybe pretty soon here, but Arkansas, they're in on this quarterback. Maybe you guys have heard of him. I had some people in Discord who'd never heard of the guy, which is surprising. But if you haven't heard yet, you need to go Google a guy by the name of Malachi Singleton. 6'1", 220-pound dual threat quarterback. I mean, he moves pretty well. He's definitely a dual threat QB, a little bit thicker than that of Malik Hornsby. Talking about a guy that Kendall Browse recruited out of high school, and well, actually, Kendall Browse recruited him since he was like 14. But Malachi Singleton is someone who Arkansas has been on for a little bit. Yeah, I know. Thank you for telling me you guys can see me. That's good. YouTube just completely vanished. That's always a little terrifying on my end when stuff doesn't work out like it's supposed to. But Malachi Singleton, pretty. I mean, this kid's pretty special. I mean, watching his film. Listen, you're gonna always hear the same thing about these type of prospects, right? Like, oh, his highlights. Highlights are wonderful. I've never seen highlights I didn't like. By the way, I've never watched a highlight because they're highlights. You're highlighting your best moments. But Malachi Singleton looks pretty special to me. I mean, he's. Talking to a couple people, I think he's closer to about 6'2", probably 225. They have him listed on 247 at 225 or 220, but I think he's probably a little bit closer to 6'2", 225. He's a thick dude. It's all he runs. If you watch his highlight film, he tucks the ball and runs like a running back. He looks more, and this is a weird thing to say, but it's one, I think I've used this description before, but he's a well-balanced, disciplined runner with the ball in his hands. Like he looks like he digs in, right? And he lowers his pads and then he bursts. He looks fast. He looks really quick out of Kennesaw, Georgia. He's part of this 2023 recruiting class, North Cobb High School. 247 on the composite, they have him at a 3-star, 0.88 3-star. 247 just says straight up he's a 91 4-star. Top 20 quarterback, top 200 prospect, top 20 player in Georgia. You knew that Arkansas, I don't remember when they offered him. I want to say they actually offered him last year, but I could be wrong on that. It looked like Arkansas was the clear-cut front runner. He's a hog. I mean, I've heard that he could even be, it's not confirmed, but that he could have even been a silent commit to the Hogs. Not so fast, my friends. UCF, Gus Malzahn this guy's been a thorn in Arkansas' side before, coming into the state of Arkansas and taking recruits. Now you're in this neutral battle zone in Georgia, in a place where he had success as the head coach at Auburn, had some success as a recruiter there. And now at UCF, he's doing the same thing with Malachi Singleton. In fact, 247 bumped him up, and I didn't notice this. I didn't notice this until the other day, and I'll be honest, I hadn't looked at his recruiting profile in a little bit. Maybe they've been warm the whole time. I don't think so. They bumped him up to warm status along with the Razorbacks. It's also being rumored that he is no longer, that the smoke about him being a silent commit to Arkansas is gone. It seems now like we got ourselves a battle with UCF of all schools for Malachi Singleton. This, according to 247, this 4-star dual threat quarterback out of Kennesaw, Georgia. He went on now this is something you have to take serious when these kids go on unofficial visits. He went on an unofficial visit on March 19th with UCF. It was an unofficial visit. So if you would have asked me a couple of weeks ago, I would have said, any day now. Any day he's going to commit to Arkansas. Now I think it's a little bit of a toss-up. I don't know. I have no idea where this kid's going. Andrew Ivins, I think that's how you get his last name. I don't want to be accused of being unprofessional like I was on another video about messing up someone's last name. Oh, God. Because I'm all about professionalism here. Straighten my tie here. Andrew Ivins, who projects him as a Power 5 starter and compares him to Taj Boyd. A true dual-threat quarterback that has a knack for making big plays, looks almost like a linebacker with his thick. Yeah, he's thick. That's the first thing that stood out to me, and I didn't even read this. I saw his sophomore film. That's the first thing that stood out to me. He's built like a big running back. I mean, he's really the size of Raheem Sanders, and he has the burst of a running back, by the way. Looks almost like a linebacker with his thick build. but is equipped with a strong, rather accurate arm, has plenty of experience running RPOs, and is the type of quarterback that's a threat scorer almost anytime he calls his own number, and he's difficult to bring down in the box and out in the open field. Pocket awareness, a strength at this stage in his development. Now, I don't know when he actually – okay, his evaluation was – this is back on August 20th. So who knows where he's at after this, right? I mean, it's been a minute. It's been since, right as high school football was going. Pocket awareness, blah, 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 as a strength in his development. Let's see. As his internal clock will bail him out of trouble more times than not. He has really good pocket awareness, and something that stood out to me, and again, this is stuff you can catch. Ask Stephen Hamner at QB Spotlight, whom I talk with quite a bit, who also has a Razorback video out. When you guys are done here, when we're all done and wrapped up here, you need to go watch his new video. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I think he just pushed it this morning. But make sure you go give QB Spotlight some love and tell him Ty Hudson from PTN sent you. But he's got a breakdown. But you ask him about some of this stuff, and watching this kid's film, he's not afraid to step up in the pocket and make throws. In fact, I think I'm a little bit surprised he's not a unanimous 4-star. His highlight, again, you guys know, and I always say you got to take highlights with a grain of salt, but there are things you could still see in highlight films, such as pocket awareness and the ability to step up into the pocket and to make the throw. Not only can he make the throw, he doesn't at all seem rattled, and his throws, based on what I've seen, look on point. He strikes me as a little bit shorter, yet somehow looks thicker KJ Jefferson. And honestly, I think he's a little bit more disciplined runner than KJ back when KJ's highlight films were coming out and we were seeing those, his huddle film. I mean, I listen, you never know till a kid gets on campus and you give him some time, right? We're finding that out with KJ Jefferson. Right after his freshman year, everyone said he ain't it. That was something that was trendy on my channel from you guys, from some of you, and you know who you are. Hashtag he ain't it or KJ ain't it. Look where we're at now. We're talking about him being a dark horse Heisman contender. Could very well be. I'm not going to say first team All SEC, but it's not off the table, right? The same thing right now is being discussed with Malik Hornsby. Should he play another position? Or, is he all that in a bag of chips? But you guys remember during his recruiting process, that's all I heard. Malik Hornsby's it. He's going to unseat KJ. Even I thought KJ had a short leash. I thought, this last season, Kendall Briles' second season as the OC, I wonder how tight the leash is with KJ just to get Kendall Briles' guy, and whom he's recruited for a long time, in Malik Hornsby. What are we doing with KJ? If he has one bad game, are we going to see Hornsby out? In fact, the opposite happened. We just, KJ balled out, and in fact, he improved. So you never know until these guys get on campus. I'm really high on Malachi Singleton. Everything I've read, reading this report, the video I've seen, this kid is legit Power 5 starter and someone I think you don't want to miss on. I mean, this is someone, again, he's being compared to Taj Boyd. Andrew Ivins is claiming he's a Power 5 starter. That's his projection, which, again, I get it. There's Power 5 starter, and then there's draft picks when they do these projections. He's not considered a draft pick yet, but I wonder where this evaluation is going to be, assuming he has another one. This has got to be someone on your radar that you've highlighted. You cannot lose someone like this to UCF. Arkansas is trending in a great direction in football, right? Well, in all sports. They're trending in a great direction. They just swept SEC and Kentucky in baseball. Basketball's in the Sweet 16, possibly the Elite 8, and football looking like they could be ranked somewhere in the top 15, top 20 coming into 2022. I mean, let's be real. We say that, Arkansas could be borderline 25th when these top 25s come out. But regardless, you're trending in a far better direction than where you were at 3 or 4 years ago. You cannot lose to someone who just got fired at Auburn, who's in kind of a recovery mode in his career at UCF. Can't lose someone like this to UCF. He was Georgia in his division Offensive Player of the Year as a sophomore. Led North Cobb to second-round playoffs, passed for 1,600 yards, almost 1,700 total yards passing, 15 touchdowns, ran for 1,000 yards, nearly 1,100 yards, and 17 more scores. That was in 2020. In 2019, he started the final 2 games as a freshman for North Cobb after splitting time throughout the year. I mean, this is a kid since he was a freshman has been highly thought of. And eventually it sounds to me when you have a freshman coming in and he's splitting time and eventually takes the job, that tells you they were big on him even when he was 14, 15 years old. This is a kid you got to get. Again, he was here on March 5th, I believe, for Arkansas's junior day. You know, he's racked up some offers. I think he has a grand total of, I thought it was more. I thought he had 20 offers. He's at 14. Remember, can't judge a player by the amount of offers, but it's the amount of committable offers. And sometimes that information is kind of hard to come by. But Georgia does have an offer on the table. I don't know if it's committable, but I know Cincy's is. UCF's is absolutely committable. Let me pull up the rest of his offers. I know Georgia Tech's is legit. Miami's is rumored to be legit. West Virginia and Virginia Tech and Virginia. So you've got the Virginia schools after him. NC State ran into some success lately. I mean, look what happened there. Miami, kind of a turnaround there. Louisville, Georgia Tech. I don't know how committable that Georgia offer is. Cincy and UCF. Again, this is a must get for quarterback for Arkansas. Is his ability kind of like KJ? I would argue, Cameron, that it very much is. He played in the RPO, similar in size, a little bit shorter, probably a good inch and a half shorter than KJ at the moment. Keep in mind, his last measurements were before his sophomore season. Your biggest growth in high school is, it just varies, but it's typically your ninth grade year, your freshman year through your junior season. Not that you don't see kids in seniors when they're 16, 17, 18. How old was I my senior year? I was 18 my senior year in high school. At the time, I was old enough to buy a pack of cigarettes if I wanted. Now I think you got to be 21 in Arkansas, right? But that's one of your biggest growth periods when you're talking about evaluating and recruiting a player. I hate that my meetings are at 11 on Wednesday's show. Oh, I do too, man. But welcome, Lee Gasowitz. I'm glad you're here, my friend. Tony Brown says, do you think we would have seen a whole different KJ if he didn't get injured in the Texas A&M game early in the year? It's hard to. I don't know. That's tough. Maybe. But he came back out in the second half and he seemed clearly like his old self. Comes back in after kind of a disastrous third quarter for the Razorback, or third and fourth quarter. He comes back in and solidified the game for you. The backup quarterback battle is going to be very interesting. It will, and that's something we're going to keep an eye on all through the rest of this camp. Hey, Ty, how does Tibby and Holmgren compare to Kessler and Smith at Auburn? Boy, this is going to be a fun one, Shahid. Stand by. We're going to get to those two in just a minute. You going to do a prediction, Ty? I am. I don't know how some of you are going to feel about it, and I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. I'm not going to lie to you. It seems like every one of these types of games, when you're playing an opponent like Gonzaga, it's like they're all really hard to pick because Arkansas has played that much better, and you're going up against a juggernaut in Gonzaga, the best offense in college basketball between them and maybe Arizona. So, yeah, Malachi Singleton, it's up in the air if this kid's going to be a Razorback or not. But, again, 6'1", according to 247, 6'1", 220. I've heard he's actually closer to 6'2", 225. He is built – to me, he looked like a running back, but a really thick running back. Someone that you absolutely need to land. All right. Anthony Black, 6'7", 190-pound point guard, 5-star. You know who he is. Depending on, what site you're looking at, he's considered a top 3 point guard, if not the number 1 point guard. Top 3 player out of the state of Texas, top 25 overall in composite. He's number 14 prospect, according to 247. Will be making his decision on March 28th, which will be Monday. I don't have a time. There are, I think, On3. Is it on3.com? Again, we've talked about him here. I'm going to be honest. I've looked at their page like 3 times. Maybe I should be paying more attention to it. On3, I believe, has him. What do they call their thing? They don't have, it's not Crystal Ball or Futurecast. What do they call their thing? I don't know what they call it. But they have him to Arkansas. Now, he was Futurecasted, I believe, to Gonzaga last week. I truly don't think anybody knows. At this point, I don't think anyone really knows. I know some of our people, Arkansas media, are hearing Some of them are hearing that he's a hard Gonzaga lean. I'm not, I don't have all that in front of me, but I think it's anybody's guess. But he's gonna make his decision on March 28th. Again, that's Monday. We don't have a time. We talk about his size. He's a big point guard. Oklahoma State's in the mix. Baylor. There's rumors that TCU could have snuck up. Of course, you've got the NBA G League stuff coming on. I appreciate you guys sharing and on Twitter. Thank you. Thanks for tagging me too. I appreciate that. If you haven't already too, follow me on Twitter. I don't ever say that enough because I don't ever promote my Twitter enough, even though it's there on the screen. If you haven't, go check that out. Go look at Twitter. I'm just at the point now where I have no idea. Three or 4 weeks ago, you felt pretty strongly about it. Things that were kind of being shared a little bit underneath, kind of behind the scenes, with some folks, and you felt pretty good. You've got some guy on Twitter making bets with Arkansas fans that he's going to announce. What's that fella's name? Him and a couple of people on Twitter. Ramon, is that his name? Ramon, saying that he's betting people money, and I guess he's coming into town just for this announcement. I don't know if he was serious about that or not. I'll be real honest with you. I don't know. I'm going to say this. First off, if he doesn't pick Arkansas, please just wish him the best. Please, I feel like we got to do this a lot, and I know most of you in my audience, I don't think are the type of people to go after someone on social media, but you still see it from time to time. Leave the kid alone. Wish him the best. Wherever he ends up, it could be Oklahoma State, it could be TCU, it could be the Zags, whatever. Yeah, it's going to be a little salt on the wound if you can't get past Gonzaga in the Sweet 16, and then he picks them on Monday. That's going to suck. That's like salt on the wound. That's going to be unfortunate if that were to happen. You have control of one of those, right? You could win this damn game tomorrow night and not feel as bad if Anthony Black picks them, and then you've got the Oklahoma State situation with what's going on with their program and kind of a TCU program that's trying to put themselves back on the map. I just don't know. Again, no one's really. I think it's pretty clear. Like my belief was a while ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, that the odds seemed pretty likely he could end up being a Razorback. I feel like it's come down a little bit. Now, this always happens because you get these jitters, and especially when his camp stopped talking to people entirely, whether it's media or whether rumors or whatever. And there's always fabricated nonsense, right? There's always, I talked to his younger brother and he said this. There's always that out there, but I think they've done a pretty good job of keeping this pretty close to the chest. I mean, we've known for a while the Zags and Arkansas's in it. We've known for a while Oklahoma State was there. We've known for a little bit the TCU's floating around and the money option as well for him to go to the G League. But yeah, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's a must get. I mean, if you asked me, and I mean this, you guys know how I am. Like, I like a for sure thing. Not that he's been stellar in the tournament, but if you asked me, Ty, which would you rather, an Anthony Black or JD Notae? I'm taking JD Notae. You're not in the Sweet 16 without JD Notae. You're not as far as you are without JD Notae. Now, I say that, and Black could go to Gonzaga and just completely, he's projected as a one and done. I get it. You just don't know what you're getting with these high school prospects. I don't want to call it a for sure thing. I guess I shouldn't say that. I like someone that I've seen the evidence that they can get it done at this level. You've seen guys come in highly recruited and take a couple of years. I'm not saying that's Anthony Black. The kid is talented, no doubt about it. Wouldn't shock me at all if he goes somewhere and he's a one and done and he's a star player in college basketball. He is at that level. There are folks that think he might need another year, but you just never know what you're getting with these high school prospects. Yeah, give me JD Notae if I had to pick between the two. There's also the possibility you don't have either back. You don't get Black and you don't get JD Notae back. But yeah, I want Anthony Black here for sure. I mean, you've already got this crazy talented recruiting class to throw Black into the mix. Oh my gosh. Like your ceiling is already high next year. Assuming everybody sticks with what they're doing, right? You get Jay Will back. I still would feel a lot more. I'd feel a lot better if JD Notae were to come back. I have a hard time seeing the staff sticking together, because Muss has such highly talented people on his staff. I have a hard time seeing them here again next year, but you know what? I said the same thing about Kendall and Barry Odom, right, in football. I wasn't so sure you're going to get both those guys back for year 3, and here we are. So you just never know. But these guys are a high class of coach, right? They're at a high caliber. Your staff is probably considered one of the best in college basketball for obvious reasons. Back-to-back, Sweet 16, possibly Elite 8 appearances, and then Musselman to boot. I mean, it just doesn't get much better. Anybody's guess. I truly have no idea. I really don't. It would be nice to have a 6-7 point guard, though, with Anthony Black. Not denying that at all. Not denying it. I'm doing terrible, but who is winning your bracket challenge? So I have in my bracket, I have Arizona winning it all. And I have them doing it over Gonzaga. Yet again, Gonzaga falls short. I've got Gonzaga, Purdue. I had Gonzaga, Purdue, Arizona, and Wisconsin. Wisconsin, of course, got eliminated. And they're gonna. That's still. I'm still a little bit surprised Iowa State, but then again, Big 12 basketball. Iowa State's got to match up with Miami. Who else is a little bit surprised by Miami? Who else is more surprised that the SEC has one school representing them in the Sweet 16? If you're not surprised by that, I don't know what to tell you. I am. I really thought they'd have a couple teams at least make it to the Elite 8. But we're talking about maybe nobody making the Elite 8 for the SEC. Now, that's not exactly, even before the season, that's not entirely shocking, but it would be surprising. To me, shocking is like you felt like there was no chance that was going to happen. There's always that chance because it's March Madness. They don't call it that for no reason at all, right? But did not have North Carolina over Baylor. I mean, my bracket is just, I just hope 3 of my 4 make it to the Final Four, or all my remaining 3 of my 4 make it to the Final Four. But I've got the Zags winning. I don't feel too good about my score just yet, but I've got the Zags winning 84-76 Arizona winning over the Zags 84-76. But yeah, my bracket's screwed. Gonzaga can't hang. We are going to take them out, says Louis easily. Thoughts on possible LSU decommits or Florida decommit? I don't have any yet. Well, I'll get back to you on that. I don't know. We'll see. You like to know what you're getting. Yeah, and I feel like with JD Notae, if that's what you're talking about, Anthony, you know what you're getting in JD Notae. You don't know what you're getting in a high school prospect. You just don't. You have no idea what you're getting. I thought Tennessee would go further, but I saw Michigan play first round and knew they would take Tennessee out. I have talked to Ramon. Ramon is coming to Arkansas and will be here for the Anthony Black decision. Yeah, I mean, I hope he's – listen, it would be embarrassing. I don't know where he's coming from. I don't know if he's – I thought I saw – is he from Texas, Ramon? Is he coming from – where's he coming from, first off? I hope he's not traveling halfway across the country, right, wherever he's coming from, for him to not commit to Arkansas. Ty, we should attack Chet and put him in foul trouble look at their past few games. He's been in foul trouble in almost every one. Yeah. I want to go in and do him like the Pistons did Georgia, but put KK and Vanover in to beat him up and foul out, rough him up. Yeah, I don't know if you want to risk. I mean, who are you taking out, right? Who are those two players subbing in for, and are you interested in really keeping those two guys on the floor for that amount of time that it takes to get someone in foul trouble? I'm not. Yeah, and I am going to do a prediction. I've seen Arkansas fans say that if we get past Gonzaga, Final Four is practically ours. While I'm not necessarily on that boat, I can understand where they're coming from. Yeah, the Zags feel like the ultimate between them and Arizona. Like, you got to get by them, right? And your hands are full. Your hands are absolutely full. Good luck to Houston. And I like Houston. I picked them to get by UAB. I really thought Illinois would be good enough to get by them, and Houston would end up being, the 5 seed that's going to match up against Arizona. A little bit surprised by that, but not shocked. And that game's going on. That's tomorrow. So Arizona-Houston will be tomorrow to see who advances in that one in the Elite Eight. And Michigan-Villanova will be on the 24th as well. But the game that everyone, I think, is probably, if you talk to national media, the game that no one should be excited for because they're just going to win so easily, Zags and the Hogs. That's tomorrow. So if you haven't looked already on our PTN Discord, we have those times up, by the way. We also have Arkansas versus Gonzaga Sweet 16 thread. Get your prediction in. Get some PTN Discord XP. Get you some points. And then we also have the hashtag tournament time, which has the times for all these games. So Arkansas and the Zags tipping off, and I love this time, 6:09, well, 6 o'clock, whatever, 6:09 on CBS. Of course, that's happening inside Chase Center, San Francisco. Not digging these pictures of these players and the First Lady wearing the Niners ball caps. I don't care where you're playing. I burned 49ers merch in this house. Villanova and Michigan are going to play on the 24th. That's at 6:30-ish. Duke and Texas Tech. I did not double-check these times, by the way. I literally copy and pasted them from another site, so I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure how accurate these times are. Duke and Texas Tech at 8:39 p.m. That's the other matchup in San Francisco on the 24th. And then Arizona and Houston at 9 p.m. on TBS. So CBS and TBS are going to carry these games, all starting at 6:00. I'm assuming they're going to start pregame probably at 6 o'clock on, maybe earlier, I would imagine, right? You don't want to start and only have 9 or 10 minutes. I'm not sure why they chose 6:09. That's, again, if that's your first tip-off, assuming these numbers are right, that's a weird, again, here we are with these 6:09 first tip-off, 6:09. But yeah, Zags and Hogs to start things off. All right. Give me your scores. Bring me your scores. Give them to me. I want to see your scores. I want to know what you guys think. Who you got? If you're in Discord, I'm not going to read off all the predictions. I'm not going to read them all off. I'll read off a few. There's a lot. How many do we have actually? We had more in our first two, round 1 and round 2. We had 20, I want to say 25 plus in both those. Right now we're sitting at, 14, 15, 16, 17. So if you haven't already, put your prediction here and put your prediction in our thread. Give me your prediction and then give me your leading score, right? I have not put mine in yet because I was waiting. I was going to wait. I was going to not do my prediction here and then just put it in Discord. I'm going to be real honest with you. Again, this is another one of those where I just wasn't sure. I woke up. I went to bed again last night. I do this all the time. I'll have notes jotted down somewhere, or I'll have my, because I do all my note taking now on Discord. I have a private server where only I have access to it, and I hide everything there, all my notes, all my, my script for the show and everything. And I was looking at my Discord at my private little PTN note server, and I had my first prediction put in, and I do this where I'll have like 4 predictions put in for a game. I have gone back and forth like 5 times on this game. This is to me, it's a hard game to pick. I kind of feel like there's a possibility when the dust settles that it could be one-sided the entire game. And maybe you're going to feel, and I'm going to feel a little silly, like, man, I really thought this would happen or that would happen. That's how it goes. It's how it goes. We just don't know. The problem with March Madness is it's exactly that. And this has been the craziest March Madness. This year's been nuts. I just feel like even though you're going to get rest, guys they're going to have plenty. They had some time to game plan for. They really had plenty of time to game plan for the Zags. I still don't think anybody has. Talking about like the national media. I'm not saying you guys. So the national media are so overwhelmingly on the Zags side, but I feel like they're doing that, but they're not taking into consideration just how good Muss is as a basketball coach. What they're looking at is what the Zags, I mean, just listening to them all combined, right? Everyone, it's like you don't hear them mention Muss is a fantastic coach. This guy did it in the NBA. He did it in the G Leagues. He's done it in college. You give him time, you cannot count the Hogs out. You cannot do it. And most of these people will have you believing that this is probably going to be dominated by the Zags and Hogs lose by double digits or close to it, 8, 9, 10 points. So, yeah, give me your scores. Give me your leading score for the Hogs in overtime. Arkansas 79-76. Cody Phillips has them going to OT. Leslie Byram 79-71, Hog victory. Tony Brown 78-61. National media got to me. They look unbeatable, but I'll still have my Hog gear on. Zach Street says Timmy will have 23 points. I predict that JD and Amude are going to go off. Cody Phillips says Amude leading score with 30. Wow, 30 points. Gonzaga 73, Arkansas 79. Says Lee Donovan. It's easy. Arkansas loses, says Hog Barbecue. All right. He's pretty confident. 71-66. Andrew Nembard with 24 points, says Mr. Woods. Yeah, Andrew Nembard's pretty good player. I don't think there's any ifs, ands, or buts about that. I just now found out Muss was the head coach at Golden State, but was fired after. Yeah. Ty, if we can play the same kind of defense we played against New Mexico State and be more consistent on offense, we'll be all right. Amude could play a huge role in this game and make a difference. Just say, no, I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, you just never know. I'm not going to be shocked if he or JD Note go off for 30. I have a hard time seeing that because these guys do play pretty good basketball. I mean, they're pretty well-rounded. Y'all are hilarious picking all these 70 and 80-point games. Yeah, Zags are a pretty good defensive team. I mean, there's no doubt. I don't have a hard time seeing 70 points, though, Jacob Hammock. I think 70 is realistic. Brooke Epling, but all of his block shots on not going to be blocks. They all can't be blocks. There's got to be fouls in there somewhere. That's where the refs need to make the right calls. Okay. Zags average 91 a game. Yeah, they do. They're a high flying offense. I think they feel pretty comfortable that 4 of their 5 starting guys can be automatic scorers. 70 is realistic. I mean, both teams like to play fast. Both teams also average above 70 points a game. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility for both these teams to be in the 70s. Probably odds being a little bit lower that both are in the 80s. But I'm not ruling anything out, man. This tournament's been wild. All right, let's break it down. Let's do it. Oh, okay. By the way, I don't know how accurate this is. I saw it. I would love for someone to confirm this. Hogs are only the second team in tournament history to shoot 26% and to make the Sweet 16. I don't know. Again, I'm throwing that out there. If someone knows that that's a fact, please give me a link or something in Discord. But the one thing that is for sure, tough defense has carried the Hogs much of this season, and that includes postseason. Adjusted offensive efficiency, talking about Gonzaga, they're second in the country. Second in adjusted offensive efficiency, 8th in defensive. Zags on defense, they're effective against the field goal percentage. According to this, number 1. I don't have where that's from, though. I'm assuming that's KenPom. Zags on offense, 2-point field goal first, right? On offense, they're considered one of the best 2-point shooting teams because watch how these guys set up the post. You know, they're outside ball screens. Like they do it all. There's really not much when you talk about what the Zags can and can't do. There's far more what they can do versus what they can't do. Zags on offense, 2-point field goal first, 2-point defense first. This is what we call the Chet effect. They're ranked 6th in the country in 6 blocks per game. Chet gets about 4 of those. From what I've seen, he's really good at coming from the side. Let's see. He's also a very effective shooter. 3-point offense, they're 21st in the country. Their 3-point defense is 37th. Their 3-point defense is ranked 37th in the country. They're 28th in turnovers and 286th in turnovers forced. They do not turn, they don't force, they don't get a lot of steals. They do not turn teams over. Like they're not one of these teams that turn great defense into offense often. Not that they can't do it. I think you're gonna need a sub 10 turnover kind of game to get past these guys. Offensive rebounding, I'm reading 141st, but their defensive rebound percentage is top 25 in the country. I don't know, when you talk about how effective they are, that could have something to do with why their offensive rebounding percentage is where it's at. When you consider, the two bigs that they have on the floor. So something that I have seen people say is that they played a horrible schedule. Okay, I'm going to have to counter that with who did Arkansas really beat? Like your best road win, Florida, LSU maybe? I guess LSU because they went to the NCAA tournament. I think their schedules are pretty damn close, if you want my honest opinion here. They played Bama. I get it. They lost, but you know what? They played Duke, but then they beat teams like Texas, UCLA, Texas Tech. They did split, I think, with St. Mary's. They beat San Francisco. Those are all NCAA tournament teams. So that's when you talk about who they've played, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm counting 7 NCAA tournament teams. How many did Arkansas face? Who in their non-con, did they face a non-conference schedule like this? No, they didn't. Gonzaga, and that's been kind of one of the excuses I've heard. Well, the Zags are overrated because this, that, or the other. Yeah, they lost to Bama, and that's still a head-scratcher. We've talked about that, right? But then they've manhandled some really good teams that are better than Bama. Everyone has that game. For Arkansas, I would argue it's probably Vanderbilt, Hofstra, or Oklahoma in the manner of which and how you lost to Oklahoma. Oklahoma was not a good basketball team, and you got curb stomped. Again, you guys know where I'm at. You play the second half of the season. In the first half of the season, you don't lose those games, and we're talking about maybe a 2-loss season, 3-loss at absolute worst, right? All 5 starters average more than 10 points a game. A team that features 4 players shooting north of 37% from three-point land. Without a doubt, one of their stars, Drew Timme, is just a flat-out stud. This guy can be dangerous from anywhere on the floor, showcases a strong post game, and can also dish the ball around for other guys to score from around the floor. He's really good at finding people. They're stud, and the guy that sticks out for me, I'm not sure how the hell you deal with this guy. 7-foot, 195-pound center Chet Holmgren can often find easy points low below the rim, or can even shoot. He's got mid-range. He can shoot outside. But if Timmy's gobbled up by double teams, this guy Chet Holmgren can become a big problem for teams. Good defender around the rim as well. Honestly, he's what we wish we could have gotten out of Vanover, let's be honest. 7 foot tall with a 7-foot 6-inch wingspan. Holmgren is a mismatch nightmare for almost any defender in the country. Both these guys combined for more than 32 points, 16 rebounds per game. They're probably the strongest duo in college basketball, if not their top 2, top 3. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Rasir Bolton leads the team in three-point shooting percentage. He's 47%, averaging about 4 attempts per game. Now, he's not someone who's going to take 10 3-point shots outside. Wouldn't shock me if Arkansas kind of game plans to make Bolton try that. Again, they're not a great offensive rebounding team. Arkansas can be a pretty solid defensive rebounding team. We know that. Defensively for the Zags have the number 1 2-point defense. On the floor, 2-point defense. I'm reading my notes all mixed up here. The Zags had the number 1 2-point and effective field goal percentage in the country. Holmgren by himself ranks 5th with 115 blocks, was named WCC Defensive Player of the Year. Zags have length, athleticism, and might be the best, most complete, not just offense, but maybe defensive team Arkansas's played outside of a couple of SEC schools like Tennessee and LSU. They can make you desperate looking for good looks, mid-range, or even around the rim, or outside. They have a top 35 3-ball defense also. So again, we kind of already covered that. They kind of do a little bit of everything really damn good, right? Like, they're effective. What up, Ty? Discord was super cool. I say the winner of this game gets Anthony Black, unless Oklahoma State gives a lot of money. You've also got TCU floating around. The Zags are not overrated. Bama just shot really good. Yeah, they shot – how many threes did they make in that game? Wasn't that the game where they went off like a whole bunch of threes? And I feel like that's about the only way if you want to really get to these guys is stretch the floor. He's a stick like Connor. He's a stick, but watch his game. Watch his game, Chris. This dude is legit. Like, he's exactly who you wanted Vanover to be. The game Zags lost to teams that shot, at 3-point. You're right. Do we see Kamani? So I don't know about Connor. We've seen the photographs of Connor. You never know with Muss. I mean, is it a distraction? Probably. But are you going to need him on the floor? Absolutely. I think you are. I mean, why not? You can. I would rather see Kamani Johnson. I would rather see Kamani and Jalen Williams, but Connor can alter shots. Connor, offensively, I have no idea what that kid's identity is anymore. I mean, defensively, and defense is the only reason why you would probably want to see him on the floor at all, just to help alter shots and to deal with a couple of their bigs. I think Kamani can really bully Chet and wear him out physically. I think you're probably right, Darren. I think that's a good observation, my man. I think you're right. I would rather see Kamani than Connor, if I'm being real honest. Meaning we go inside the paint. Everything Holmgren does shouldn't all be blocks. There should be some fouls on him as well because he's so tall. Just my opinion, though. Again, Brooke, you're talking about probably one of the best rim defending teams. I think the Zags in Arkansas are in that conversation of being some of the best, some really solid rim defending teams here. I think the Zags get the edge. No way in hell Muss plays Connor. I don't see it either. You just never know. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a few minutes just to help out if someone gets into foul trouble. I guess I should be more specific. Use the bench and beat him up, make him earn it. Could be something you see happens. We all saw that picture of Vanover yesterday. It was posted for a reason, but I wonder why. I think it's probably more of a distraction. I really don't know if you see him play tomorrow or not. I mean, why do you go the amount of time without him being on the floor to all of a sudden putting him in against Gonzaga? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I try to keep Chet around the three since he hasn't been shooting well. Keep him out of the paint and make Timmy work for it all game. Kind of feels like you got to pick your poison with those guys, and then you can't count out the rest of what Gonzaga can do. Right? You still have Nimbard, a guy that can get 12 points a game. He's their he obviously plays the point for them. Averages close to 6 assists. This guy sees the court as good as anybody I've seen. His ability, and something that I noticed through the tournament, his ability to just see the floor open up. He is a problem. Andrew Nimbard, like, there's not enough talked about with this kid. Like, no one comes close on this roster to his assist ratio. I think Rasir Bolton is the guy who comes up behind him at 2 assists a game. All these guys, like we talked about, shooting real high 3 percentage. They're very selective, very similar to Vermont in how they approach their shot selection, right? But they're not as slow. They can score quick. They can kind of do it all. Have they played a defense like Arkansas? I don't think so. Memphis was probably their best defensive. When you talk about like the physicality of what Memphis is, how well they can play defensively, I think Arkansas is better than Memphis. I think Arkansas is better than Memphis. And that was a close game between the Zags and Memphis. You saw their first game, right? The Zags' first matchup against Georgia State. In the first half, now everybody struggled in the first half. You got to be fair. Everybody struggled in the first half. But then the Zags took off in the second half and just blew up. And I think that's kind of been their identity, similar to Arkansas, where offensively they get it put together in the second half. But most of the season they've been effective on offense in both halves. I'm just saying they've had better, more effective halves in the second half. But they ended up beating Georgia State 93-72, and then they beat Memphis in a knockout, drag-out game, 82-78. So now here we are, right? Who is more prepared? Who has the better matchups? Ty, you have Arkansas in all your brackets getting eliminated in the Sweet 16. Does that change tomorrow night? No. I have the Zags getting by, and I'm not – this isn't me, giving you any surprises. No, I don't like Arkansas here. I just don't. And I know that's – some of you aren't going to like that. You're not going to like that pick. I truly think if there was a year, and I could be wrong, man. I mean, Arkansas, I've been told all year the Zags are overrated. So maybe we find out. Maybe Arkansas punches them in the mouth. But based on what I've seen, what I've watched, what I've read, no, this isn't me giving in to national media. You guys know if there's a criticizer of national media, well, there's two thumbs right here that I've been a big critic. Like, they do not give Musselman enough credit. I could see this game going to OT. I could see it playing out probably three different ways. Either Zags by a little bit, Arkansas by a little bit, or the Zags by double digits and probably beat the crap out of Arkansas the entire game. I think it's more likely that Gonzaga, it might be somewhere in between. It's a semi-close game, but the Zags lead. I just don't like this matchup. There's just too many pieces on the floor for the Zags. They are, I think they're better than last year, and they made a tournament run, or they made a championship run a year ago. It's just a matchup nightmare. The two teams I did not want to be bracketed with were Arizona and the Zags. I did not want to be matched up with either of these two in their respective brackets on their sides. And, I mean, look, Baylor knocked out, right? In theirs, although I didn't see Baylor getting knocked out when they did. And Kansas, to me, kind of, they don't seem like a real strong one seed. I would prefer to be in those two versus, the South and the West. I just don't like this matchup with the Zags at all. Now, that doesn't mean, again, I'm not ruling Arkansas completely out. I think it could be. Like I said, I feel like the more likely scenario is this thing is probably a Zag 10-point lead most of the game, then Arkansas goes on a little bit of a run. And one of the reasons why I've come to this determination, it is because of the tournament. It absolutely is. Arkansas looked like shit against Vermont. They had a little bit of time to prepare for that game. They didn't look good. They looked awful against Texas A&M back in the SEC tournament. Now, they did beat LSU, right? At the time, and I would say up until Will Wade's firing, your best postseason win so far. I don't think very highly of Vermont. I get Vermont was a good team. I think they were capable of maybe getting an upset, but I was not buying that Vermont was going to upset Arkansas. I liked Arkansas over New Mexico State. You're talking about beating a 13 seed and then a 12 seed to get to where you're at, and you struggled mightily in those two games. Now, to me, the X factor here is the amount of time and the amount of fuel that Musselman has now. He's got it, but he had a lot of fuel for Vermont, and they struggled in that game. You watch that A&M, and I get it. The A&M game, not a lot on the table, and I'm not saying that happened because A&M's better. You guys know how I feel about that. Arkansas's better than A&M. Arkansas's clearly better than LSU. Arkansas's better than the teams they've played so far in postseason. They haven't played great basketball in postseason play yet. They just haven't. I've got to be someone, and I repeat this all the time. You got to give me something. Now, what I have seen is great defensive play. Yes, their defensive play, especially against New Mexico State, was fabulous. Was great. But New Mexico State doesn't have any of the type of weapons that the Zags have. You held both these teams. Your first, of course, Vermont, 71 points. New Mexico State, you held sub 50. I don't, score prediction here is tough. I don't even know if I want to give it out yet. I'll probably do that tomorrow, maybe later today. But right now, I have the Zags winning this game. Johnny Dobro says Zags A269. Zags have 3 losses. That is correct. Bama made 10. Was it 10? Okay, I thought it was 13 to beat the Zags. Arkansas has to make open shots. And that's the other thing. I think their kryptonite, based on what I have seen, are teams that can get hot outside. Arkansas is not. They're one of the worst three-point shooting teams remaining in this tournament. They're awful shooting outside. They just are. Amude is guarding Bolton, similar body type and almost exact height. Complete game, Arkansas wins, says Jay Carpenter. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, I think if you don't even you do have to play your best game. Don't get it twisted. You got to bring your A+ game. You got to bring your big boy pants. But I just haven't seen it. I have not seen Arkansas put together a full game yet in postseason play. Maybe LSU, maybe. I mean, that's your best win so far, right? LSU was a one and done, but we know their situation was a little bit different. I would much rather, deal with the Midwest or East brackets, and unfortunately, you're not. You're in this West bracket. Now, if I'm wrong and the Arkansas Razorbacks win this game, I feel confident enough. I'm not shaving my beard. Maybe I'll shave my mustache. My wife, I hope she's not listening to this. Maybe I'll shave my mustache right here. I've got an extension cord. I'll bring my my stuff in here, and I'll shave my mustache. I feel that confident. I don't like this matchup for the Hogs at all. I'm not, I don't think that this is a situation where go Amish. Maybe I will. Dye your hair pink. I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that. But yeah, I don't think it's a good matchup for the Hogs. I don't think it's a good matchup. I think it's a really tough. It's gonna be a tough game. I mean, Timmy, Holmgren, Bolton. They've got guys up and down all over the roster. Haven't really even gone into their bench much. Like, they have it in them to be a problem for anyone in the country. Not just a problem, but to be better than anybody in the country. I mean, that much is clear, right? Strother, I don't know his health situation. Is he healthy? I thought I read somewhere where he was dealing with something, but early on in the year, he was like they're off and on their leading scorer, right? This is a guy that was scoring 17, 18, 20, 15. They have had some games postponed and canceled, by the way. They were supposed to play Washington this year. Not that really matters. But mostly it's been Timmy, Holmgren, Bolton. Those have been their leading scorers. Against St. Mary's, it was Nimbard. San Francisco, it was Timmy. When they lost to St. Mary's, Bolton had 16 points. I think that's probably a game you want to, if you want to talk about a loss, you go back to the St. Mary's matchup. And maybe that's something you take into a little bit of consideration. St. Mary's won that game by 10 points, and I don't think they struggled. I think they led the majority of that game. Watson came off the bench 15 minutes, had no production outside of a couple of rebounds and a couple steals. You had 3 of their starting 5, Strother, Bolton, and Nimbard, all had sub 16 points. Right? Timmy had 6 points and Holmgren had 6 points. Those guys, they had rebounds, 3 assists between the two of them, couple steals, 5 blocks, but they had 12 points between the two of them. It looks to me like St. Mary's game plan was to try and eliminate those two. Now, I haven't studied St. Mary's depth chart and roster, but seems like maybe that's your game plan, but that's easier said than done. Remember, these two teams split, right? They went 9 deep. They got quite a bit of production from their bench. They got 14 points. They had 4 of their 5 starters in double-digit points with Koos, how you say that guy's last name, who didn't sit a minute. He had 40 minutes, him and this guy Johnson, 40 minutes. Between the two of them, they had 24 points. They were 87% at the free throw line versus Gonzaga at 88%. Gonzaga shot 33% outside. They were 5 of 15. They were 36% from the floor overall. St. Mary's was 44. And they shot but on 16 attempts, St. Mary's shot 37.5%, 6 of 16. It can be done. Like, I think you got to look at this game as, okay, maybe here's the blueprints right here. You've got to find a way to get Timmy and Holmgren. Now, again, matchups matter, roster. What does St. Mary's have to offer versus Gonzaga, and then you throw Arkansas in the mix? Maybe that's the game you look at and you go, okay, those guys got it done. And looking at the stat sheet, Timmy and Holmgren combined for just 12 points. Yeah, they had 8 and 6 rebounds. Strother had 7. They had 33 total rebounds versus St. Mary's at 37. They had just 6 offensive rebounds. Compare that to Gonzaga's 7. It can be done. So you look at that game, and that caught my attention this morning, actually. And that's what kind of gives you a little bit of hope. I don't think you rule Arkansas out. I feel like this is Arkansas should be given about a 30% chance of winning this game. I think ESPN BPI has it at like, what, 10, 14%? Was that what it was at not long ago? Let's go look at that really quick. Last I saw it was like 14%. Yeah, 14.2. I think it ought to be closer to about 30 to 40%. That's what I'm saying. I feel like the BPI should be at, but the media is so overwhelmingly bought into that the Zags are they're the team of destiny. They're going to do it this year. Finally, the Zags are going to have it completely put together. It's just unfortunate that the Hogs had to run into them, and I agree with that assessment. It is. I'd feel a lot better versus the other two, what's going on in the other two brackets. Would not feel good about Arizona. Those are my teams, Arizona and the Zags. You just don't want any part of. The interesting matchups, again, it's going to be how you deal with Timmy, how you deal with Holmgren, what do you do with Nimbard? Like, how do you adjust for these guys? How do you match up? What's the rotation going to look like? Timothy Henderson says, in what multiverse? What do you mean? In what multiverse what? Oh, are you talking about the Connor Vanover? Jacob P-Toom talking about Connor Vanover going to lock Holmgren down? Man, listen, you would love for that, but I have a hard time seeing it. Uncle Phil. What's up, Uncle Phil? My favorite TV uncle. Or TV dad, really. Team isn't afraid. I don't think they're afraid. I don't think they're scared at all. I mean, not at all. You saw how well they played against Baylor last year in the Elite Eight. And, of course, that's the team you run into. And, I mean, look, when you get to the Elite Eight, it's more likely you face teams of that caliber, right? And it is in the Sweet 16 as well. The BPI is a waste, says John Hawes. John, they are 2-0, by the way, for Arkansas. I'm just saying. Connor will be Connor will be the best 7-footer on the floor tomorrow night. Woo! Boy, that's a hot take if I've ever seen one. All right, that's going to do it, guys. This is it, man. This is it. I'm wearing my lucky red for today's show. I think the last time I wore this was, I want to say Auburn or Tennessee, one of those two. And they were both wins. Obviously not the road game against Tennessee. If Arkansas does win, would you rather see Texas Tech or Duke? I don't know yet. That's, again, Tony, you're hitting me with some good questions. Probably Texas Tech. Just because I do feel like people fear the logo more than the team, and I don't know. I mean, I'll be real honest. I have not watched either of these two play at all. Like, I didn't watch them play at all in the tournament. Watched, like, maybe 10 minutes of Texas Tech during the year. Maybe Texas Tech, but, a lot of people think Duke, that they're frauds. When they lost to North Carolina, everyone thought they were frauds, but it turns out they were actually pretty decent. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. Yeah, they're Texas Tech is. I mean, they're both good. I just don't know enough about either of them. I like obviously sitting down and look at the matchups and who could match up against who and their size and what they can do with their rotation and and obviously taking a better look at what they've done through the year, kind of looking at a progress report or a body of work. I don't know enough about either team to make that guess. Off the top of my head, I would rather play probably Texas Tech. But that could change. I don't know. Assuming Arkansas can get past the Zags. We beat them last year, like our chances against Texas Tech again this year. Yeah. Yeah. Again, I haven't watched them play at all. Be honest. Okay. Woo Pig. I'll see you guys tomorrow night, man. This is it. The last time I'll see. We might do a Discord pre-live tomorrow, like a pregame show tomorrow if you guys want to be there. If you want to do it, I always have fun doing those on Discord. We'll light up some cigars and talk about the game a little more. So, genuine question: do you think Vanover plays tomorrow? I just don't know. I don't know, man. Again, like I said earlier, why would you hold Vanover out? 85% of the season? He has 0 minutes in postseason play. Then you use him again. I don't know. I just don't see it. So I'll be off at 5:30. Let's make it happen. I'll grab a stogie tonight. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. We'll do it tomorrow night before tip off. Maybe an hour before or so on Discord. So if you guys want to be there, make sure you check out the links provided for you down below. It's the Discord invite is down there, and I believe it's still active. If not, I have one on my Twitter. I think I have Discord pinned in my Twitter bio, or I don't know. Or I'll just throw you an invite here. How about that? How about we do that? Hang on just a second. Invite people. There we go. Here we go. Here's your invite. Bada bing, bada boom, right? Boom. If you want to join, there you go. There it is. So I'll see you probably tomorrow before the game in Discord. If not, I'll see you after in the post-game show. Woo Pig, go Hogs. Let's hope I'm wrong. I don't really want to shave my mustache, but I'll do it if I'm wrong, I'll do it. I'll do it, by God. I'll shave it off. I'll probably sleep on the couch for a couple of nights, but, it's whatever. Woo Pig, I'll see you guys tomorrow night.